this week's recap of Survivor. This episode was nuts!
Get the defibrillator paddles
There
out.
was so much craziness.
It was great. It was
All right.
one of the best Survivor episodes ever.
Wow. Wow. All right, so it started off with a bang. Rodney gets together his new alliance with Will,
He's like,
Carolyn, and Tyler.
Let's get rid of Mike in front of Mike.
Mike was standing a few feet away. He heard it all.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, it's time for Trader Jeff's. Oh, I love it. Everybody gets $500 in their tree mail.
This is the food auction. We know it. We love it. Here it is.
I always miss it in the seasons that don't have it, so I'm glad that the season has it.
Mm-hmm. So the first item up for bid is covered.
And Will bids $100 and gets it. And it's a piece of paper in there.
And they're like, what? Is it a clue? So he goes back to his seat. He reads it. Duh, Fook. The note is like, you just bought yourself out of this auction.
Get
out. So he has to walk back to camp. It's crazy.
Alone. So then some chicken and waffles go to Shireen for $300.
Shireen went right for $300. Start at 20.
Oh boy. And Dan, Carolyn, and Mike, they all are not interested in food. All
They're like,
they're
we're not
interested
bidding on the food.
Is an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So they hang back for a while. Some other people get some food to eat.
Steak. There's like this giant, I guess, alcoholic beverage.
That was huge. That was absolutely huge.
It's like a fishbowl.
So then Jeffy pulls out some letters. He's
Oh,
like,
snap.
Look at this, kids. Letters from home.
Yeah, Shireen knows how to beat the system. She's like, I've seen this before. One person bids, and then that price is going to be locked in so everyone can buy it.
You give me those letters.
Yeah, so Sierra pays $20, and then as Shireen predicted, Jeff offered it to everyone for $20.
But Dan knows that unless all three of him, Mike, and Carolyn take the letters, they're going to be outbid.
Yeah, they all have to do it, or else someone's going to have an advantage. So he's just like, come on, just do it, man. Because Mike is kind of like, I don't know.
And Jeff is like, what the F is wrong with you? Why are you so emotional?
Dan's been listening to a lot of Sam Smith, okay?
He's like, my wife, Jeff.
Yeah, so they're all lining up to pay for their letters and take them back to their seats. So Mike is the last one to go. And when it's time to pay, he turns around. He's like, nope, not going to buy it. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, Dan was super duper pissed.
Yeah, so Carolyn was like, well, I'm putting this back. Fine, I'm not going to get mine then.
No, I'm putting mine back. The hell?
Yeah, so she goes, she's returning hers, and then Mike is like, oh, I can't do it. So he decides, fine, I'll buy my letter too.
Right, so Mike, Carolyn, and Dan all bid their $480 for the advantage.
It's time to draw rocks.
Woo! Dan wins. He's like, all right, I'm going to open this box up in private when I get back to camp.
All right, we'll get back to that. Or is this where we talk about it?
No.
Okay.
Back at camp, Will is bummed out. He's
all alone.
He's like, yeah, everybody's eating food.
He doesn't even know about the letters at this point.
No. So he sees this clue waiting for him when he gets back.
The clue is like, dig here.
All right.
So he goes and looks for it. There's a stake in the ground.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. They couldn't have made it any simpler. There's a personal stash of food. And
all right.
I think it was like trail mix, some electrolyte powder.
Beef jerky or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So the note said that there was enough for him to enjoy for the rest of the game.
Right.
But it's up to him if he wants to share it or not. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to share it.
All right.
It's all good.
So when the other chuckleheads get back, Mike is calling out freaking Rodney's plan in front of everybody.
They're all about to read their letters, and Mike is just like, you, and you are all coming after me. He calls all of them out. Rodney's like, what? What are you talking about, bro?
You crazy. And Dan is freaking pissed
He's
at
like,
Mike.
how dare you do this before we open our letters?
So we find out that Dan's advantage is an extra vote at Tribal when Jeff says, I'll go tally the votes.
Whoa! That's huge.
It is huge.
That is huge.
And it doesn't have to be used this week either.
No.
All right, so Mike is a little shit stir.
Ooh, no, okay, so they're talking about Will sharing his food, and they're like, you know what?
Hey, you know what? I don't think he shared all of his food that he got in that thing.
And Jen was like, yeah, I think he just gave us the stuff he doesn't like.
The S he doesn't like.
Well, I wasn't going to pull a you.
All right, thanks. So it gets back to Will, and Will's like going ballistic on Shireen.
Yeah. Mike and Jen were also in on that conversation, but they were away at the time,
Yeah.
so he just went right in on Shireen, and it got crazy.
So he went and got the box, and he's like, what else can fit in this box?
But then it gets crazy because Will starts getting super personal with Shireen. He's like, "No, you got no one back home who loves you or cares about you. You
No
have no family.
No one
Whoa.
here likes you.
Yeah. It got really, really
It
bad.
got dark. It got really dark.
I did not like that.
I didn't either. Now there's a new alliance. It's called Mike, Shireen, and Jen. It's like the Outcast Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, Shireen and Jen already had something going, but Mike was just like, man, I gotta, like, do something here. So he just, like, attaches to those
Yeah.
two. He's trying to comfort Shireen.
And Jen's like, I'm dead man walking, so I might as well just, like, help
Jen's
out
just
Shireen.
like, these people suck. All right, let's talk about this week's immunity challenge.
Oh, this was great. So they show up for the immunity challenge, and Will is like, Jeff, I want to sit out. I want to give up my chance at immunity if I could only have my letter from home. Mm-hmm. And Jeff's like,
Let's see what we can do here.
why don't we have a vote? But if one person votes no, you don't get it.
All right, so Jeff is like, let's make this simple. If you don't want Will to get his letter by sitting out for this challenge, raise your hand. So it's like silent for a minute, and then all of a sudden, Shireen! Oh my gosh! It was crazy. Oh my god.
That was a beautiful piece of editing.
That was
Beautiful. Kudos
Wow.
to whoever edited that.
Wow.
You did a great job.
insane.
All right, so needless to say, he was disappointed / pissed.
Yeah.
So now it's time for the challenge.
All right, immunity challenge.
You got to get your 6 balls one at a time across the teeter-totter obstacle course. Using these little sticks.
It was like a pincher
to hold,
thing.
Yeah, hold your balls up. And it...
She can't do it. That's not how you do
Ah,
it.
I cheated! But you couldn't cheat on Survivor because
No.
Jeff was right there. All right, so one at a time, and there was a little bit of a learning curve to this.
Definitely. Some
people weren't
learned
getting it right away.
quicker than others.
Basically, it came down to Mike and Tyler. Mike was really rocking it out.
Yeah,
he had a huge
he
lead.
got in a rhythm. He had it down, and he ended up winning.
Yay!
Mike won immunity, and
really
boy,
needed it
he
this
really,
week.
yeah, he really needed
I
it.
really needed that immunity. I had to grab those balls really tight.
All right, so back at
did.
camp. It's time to figure out what they're gonna do now that Mike has immunity. So Rodney's alliance is, well, they're saying they should go after Jen because she's a bigger threat than Shireen.
Right, and Mike's alliance wants Carolyn gone, or as they like to call her, Mama C.
Mama C.
Nobody likes her. 'Cause
Man, she gave a lot of stink faces in this episode.
Yeah,
I
she's
counted
on-
at least 3 or 4. At least.
all right,
Like,
well,
really long ones, too. Just like,
resting stink face.
I
All right,
guess.
so Mike realizes that, you know what, they have a pretty tight alliance, except for maybe Dan. So he pulls
wait,
Dan,
what are you talking about, tight alliance?
the Rodney, Dan, and Sierra, and Carolyn.
What
No?
alliance is that?
I don't know. Who am I
All
talking about?
Mike is worried that Sierra and Dan are going to defect to the 4 that are going after Mike. Right. Okay.
I meant
I think that's what you meant,
yeah,
but like it
the
came
4,
out weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike is trying to reel Dan back in. He's
Exactly.
like, "Yo, we need your vote. Blue strong."
Come on, guys. We built this camp with our bare hands.
this camp.
Not on rock and roll.
built this camp on beards and something.
Balls?
No. Okay.
All right. So Mike gives Dan the total hard sell. He's like, Blue strong. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, and it seems like Dan is almost like, oh shucks, gotta stick with my Mikey.
Receptive, you know, like he wants to be down with the whole thing, but we'll see. So at Tribal, Jeff is like, all right, Will, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, because Will was all like, bring your popcorn for Tribal, so Jeff's like, all right, I'm ready.
Can I eat my popcorn in here?
Yeah, so they start things off. Will calls out Shireen, and Shireen is just like, you made it super personal. You want to know why I don't have any family?
Domestic violence. And that brought down the
That was
entire
intense.
Tribal council.
I felt so bad for Shireen, and Will was trying to be like, oh, you're just playing the victim. No. You attacked her! She is the victim in this.
Jeff was just like at a loss. He was just like,
What do I do now? Yeah.
Sierra, what about that,
He went through the breakdown of,
Yeah.
you know, how many people are left from each original tribe.
and Sierra's like, you know what? We are still worlds apart, just like the title of the show.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Is the blue collar tribe still tight? You say that fast 10 times.
I can't say it once.
All right. Dan says you have to put emotions aside.
But it's so much harder to do than it looks.
But you can't. All right. Mike calls out Rodney's alliance right there at Tribal.
Again, Jeff is just like...
And then, Rodney was like yelling something. I don't even know if he was making sense.
Rodney was like, we love
everyone who's nodding, yeah. All right, so then it's time.
Everyone's nodding. Because they know I'm right. Okay.
It's time for the vote.
It's time for the vote. We're not going to sugarcoat things. Jen was voted out. That sucks.
You know, they only showed like one vote for Carolyn. Shireen voted for Jen.
As did Mike. I guess they felt like they couldn't get the votes together. They didn't want to make those waves if they knew they couldn't pull it off. It sucks.
It does suck.
All right, so next time.
Woo! Mike is remaining as the biggest target in
He's
camp.
having a hard time finding allies.
And something happens that we absolutely abhor. And that is Tyler going in Dan's bag, rifling through it.
He found the clue. He found the note that was like, you got an extra vote. So now he knows. Woo, that's not good. I hate when people go on other people's things.
That should be sacred. You should at least have your little locker, you know, called your
Survivor
bag.
locker. Yeah.
So let us know what you think in the comments. How do you feel about Tyler possibly going in Dan's bag, which actually happens, but let us know.
And I just want to give a shout out to Jen for her amazing goodbye interview. This person, I thought they were cool. They suck. I can't stand this person. This person sucks. It was pretty funny.
It was great. So kids, let us know, and until next time, much love.
Edit.